Hello, everybody, and welcome back to one more edition of Breaking News, One Whole Earth. Or it's at One Whole Earth News. This is breaking. Well, everything's breaking up. If you spend any time with Amy Goodman this morning, well, NATO's all on the rocks. It's all like Europe is floating around in this wild abyss. Are we going to go with Putin? I mean, he's going to go through Ukraine to come into and start World War again. I don't think that. They're kind of at a laissez-faire. I mean, the whole thing's predicated on oil. The thing's predicated on oil. So that's where we start at the end of the game. And we're all having basically up against it because oil, coal, and nuclear don't want to give up to the abundance of green energy as predicted by the natural capitalism, Rocky Mountain Institute, L. Hunter Lovins, Amory Lovins, Paul Hawken all work together to create this thing, and their legacy is called natural capitalism. And we knew that if we started building an infrastructure of green and safe energy, the benefits would continue to run. Okay, because these things don't go away. I mean, batteries last for a long time. Solar panels last a long time. Basically, the solar panels that started in the 70s are still producing some type of energy, but they've been replaced by something better and better and better. At the same time, the energy, load has gotten less and less and less. You got LEDs, you've got more energy efficient products coming out every single day. Everything's micro. So we're producing way more energy than we really need. Now the question is how to use that thing. But that just brings us back to how we got here now. And I'm, on a personal level, just obsessed with this one line in George Orwell's 1984, where he's, trying to remember all the different wars that they were fighting at the time. And he can't keep it. He can't keep track of it. Well, I'm obsessed with that too. I want to make sure that we keep track of. Well, it's just my own personal thing because at the end of the day, Wilson Smith ended up being with a bullet in the head. So we don't know where this is going to end. But where it starts is somebody has got to say something and keep this little teeny ember alive, because what's going on here is we had the assassination of Kennedy. God knows what would have happened if Kennedy had actually been able to do some of the things. Now, he was going after CIA and FBI at the time, and that's why he had to be eliminated. You have to look at all this stuff. He was assassinated by George Bush, and then in his cabinet was Rumsfeld, Kissinger, and Cheney, all there, and they ran that show. And for Dick Cheney to come out here and tell us about how, you got to vote against Trump because he's the end of it. They basically created Trump through the process. The next thing was that 9/11, talking about perhaps an Asera law, perhaps there was going to be a Jubilee, perhaps there was going to be a return to the gold standard. But instead we got this ridiculous, blow up, building two beautiful buildings that were basically were obsolete. They no longer functioned properly. They couldn't keep it housed. It was losing money by the day. It was a beautiful icon, but it had nothing to do with real finances. It was just all ego, glass and steel. So they had to be brought down, Everything in Building 7 was Enron. Enron was the consolidation of energy. They're going to be brought up on charges because they were selling financial instruments that were not going to be backed up by the claims that they were making. All that stuff ended in 9/11. Nothing was talked about on Enron's case after 9/11. And then that continued forward. Now, of course, Bill Clinton was a shill. And he was involved with the whole Bush Cheney thing too. I mean, really, it's like Republican light. That seems to be that's the cycle we were given. You got Clinton, and then Carter came in with trying to do some serious reform. They weren't going to let that happen very long. He brought in the Board of Education. I mean, this educational program that we're trying to dismantle now. So Clinton, and then of course George, Jr. Was an imbecile. We all knew that. So it was his father and Dick Cheney running the show then. And what do we have next? Then Obama. Obama comes in, but oh man, was he cool? Obama was really cool to look at, but he's playing Chicago style politics. Fast and loose, whatever it took to get him going. But we got good health care. Now that was a pretty, it was moving in the progressive way, having a black president, it seemed like we were getting something out of this. But, Free Speech Radio was talking about the problem with Obama. And sure enough, Biden was Obama's puppy, and Biden, wanted his chance, and he basically stomped his feet and still doing it. And he's having a temper tantrum right up to think. Doesn't matter what the country needs, really, as long as he got his turn to be president. And he's going to take his turn to be president right up against the crooked ridiculousness of this goofball Trump, which is, really, for anyone who's gone to law school, anybody who's gone to business finance school, anybody who's taken the insurance exam, got to be wondering what's happening. And I guess all those other folks who want to destroy all this didn't do any of that. Not quite sure. What I feel needs to happen is there needs to be a purge of the entire thing, and there needs to be a re-oathification. Let everybody do the Pledge of Allegiance, but this time as if their life depends on it. That's the thing. Are you willing to do this? If you were MAGA, are you willing to come on take TV and take an oath and take your congressional oath on TV in front of your constituents? That would be the thing to get most people out of there. And if they can't accept the election, then why are we in a democracy? Why is authoritarianism even on the table? I'll tell you why. It was put this on there because of that Bush Cheney group. They had the control at the time. They were working oil and Putin, oil, Ukraine. Oh, come on. Follow the money, follow the oil. And now Palestine and Israel. I have no idea about this. This is the hardest thing to imagine. How a nation who is victimized can turn around and victimize another nation is just beyond me. So anyway, with that in mind, I need y'all to come around and keep your watch set, because the shift is going to happen. And it's going to happen on 7/14/2024. Earth-shaking information is coming your way, so stay tuned. And because we've got to look at the bigger thing. The bigger picture is, do you have what you need today? Yes or no? And someone who needs some of that? Yes or no? And can you do this without hurting anybody? Yes or no? Tell me what I'm getting wrong here, okay? Tell me where I'm wrong, okay? This is what we got to do. We have to, set aside our differences and get together as a unity consciousness, because that might be the most difficult challenge facing us, right? The small challenge is dealing with authoritarianism. If we end up, in a boxcar going to the extermination camps, that'll be a whole nother discussion. Hopefully something I say today will help you make a decision not to get in that car, not to go that way. And whatever you do, well, I don't know, run for the shower in the hopes that it'll actually be a shower and not this time, chlorine gas. I don't know. Because these folks are they just love it. They love it. Now, the other book you take off your shelf and go back in, and if 1984 is pretty tick by tick what's happening, in my life. I'm probably Wilson Smith. I don't know if anybody else relates to Wilson Smith. Renee, can you relate to Wilson Smith?
Talk a little bit about remind me who that is. Remind all of us who that is. You're talking about 1984, right?
Yeah, Wilson Smith is the main character.
Right. So, yeah,
Smith Wilson.
right now, not just people in America, but all over the world, a lot of people are talking about this book because our experiences it seems like the book was prophesying exactly what we're going through right now. Everything we're doing is monitored. There's no privacy anymore. There's authoritarianism. And people feel like they're cogs in the machine, that their human dignity is not being respected. So, of course, absolutely, it resonates.
Well, I mean, I thought when I read that, George, I got to make sure I get him right. The younger clown was, and I put worst on my car, and it had some honks and things. W, that was what we were calling him, the worst. And I was reading this book, and I was thinking that this is probably the only book this guy ever read. And he probably got off on it. He thought this is going to be fun, a fun thing to do to people. And we're not too far off. I mean, now this 2025 is pretty much right out of, well, that's Handmaid's Tale. This is some other kind of weird, draconian, kind of bizarre attempt to grasp at power. I think it's not going to really, can't imagine that our neighbors are really lining up to send, their next door neighbors to Auschwitz. It's just I just can't see that really happening. We go to the grocery store together. We're going to bars together. We're driving on the highways together. The same people, I mean, you can be whatever you want in your car, but, please don't hurt other people. This is the thing that's kind of silly. I feel like we're on one side or the other. And that's ridiculous because we're Americans. We're supposed to feel as somewhat home, right? Don't you want to feel at home, Renee?
Yeah, you want to feel at home, and you also want to feel that you have real neighbors and that you can trust on the people that you're living near. And one of the things that's going on in America right now is division, right? Can you talk a little bit about that division, the distrust, how people can't even have dinner together anymore?
Well, no, that's not true. It's not true at all. People can have dinner. I think it's entirely up to individuals. It's gonna be early after all, around 4:30. Okay. Anyway, no, it's not difficult at all. You just have to open up to want to do it, and whatever. I mean, that's the Christ way. The Christ consciousness is such that we have to do forgiveness and love first. Always, we lead with forgiveness. Now, if you lead with anything but forgiveness, you're not coming at it from a Christian point of view or whatever that is. I don't want to be Christian. I just want to be on the side of a clear conscience. It's completely personal, right? That's why my motive is to make me the best person I can be and to help you become the best person you can be. So together we can just hang out. It's way more fun to help another person be a great person. So that was what Thoth came back with as a child. He came back and explained that, what do you want to do? I want to be a teacher of men, of people, because we're so interesting as a species of, I don't know. Anyway, now that's that's like the kind of the way we anthropomorphize Thoth and this kind of feeling. But now I think the common feeling is this idea that, you know, we're all in this together, and we are somehow different from everything else that we can see around us. So that makes us really special. And if we're really special, then we're godlike special. See, you're godlike special. Do you feel that way?
I do. I definitely do.
So now, and this is our attempt to help other people feel the same way. Because it's more fun to help other people than it is to sit around and have everything perfect on an island. That's like no fun. So what do you think? Have we gotten, I mean, you and I think we're doing pretty good today about this kind of situation, how we handle it. So we don't want to be, okay, the whole thing is set up to get everybody to panic. Don't you see that?
Right. It's all about fear and fear mongering, fear tactics. If you get somebody to fear for their lives and feel that they're in a survival death match, they can do almost anything. They do things that they wouldn't typically do, correct?
I guess. I mean, it's in that fight or flight mode. You start to pump that thing. Now the question
Right.
is, can you hold it together and resist that? I mean, it's chemistry, right?
Right. So it's a chemical response, adrenaline and all these other chemicals and hormones that spike. And in a predator prey environment, that helps you because you can run faster, you can run longer, you can save yourself. But in a political environment, what you're seeing now with the fear mongering is you get people who feel that their lives depend upon eliminating other modes of thought or getting against free speech. Like free speech triggers a lot of people. A lot
Right.
of people don't like to listen to the truth. And something is coming up on this Sunday, which is July 14th. We do have a promo if we want to show. Would you like to show a promo for that about the shift that you mentioned?
Right. It was all on me, and my back was turned because I'm looking for some information about, the situation of who is a donor. That is just Ben Mycelis. So I listened to Ben
Right.
Mycelis and the Midas Touch. And I don't know if you have that graphic
Yeah, I
available.
can get it. Give me a minute while you talk about it.
So this is the thing. It's like we are, in some kind of a weird experiment with these people are all doing this. Now, I don't believe that if these folks are really wagging the dog, is the tail wagging the dog, or is the dog wagging the tail? This is the question. And I'm, a little bit of both. And who knows to what side. So Biden is coming out. Oh, I hate having one bad choice. Everyone hates having one bad choice. I mean, you got two bad choices. You want a dictator, or you want a guy that's going to fall apart, or does that even matter? See, what they don't know, this is what's so frustrating, is that the president doesn't do any real work in terms of governing. He's a leader. What we got to do is get into Congress where we can start working on bills that are helpful to people and not hindering. But we have a scourge of MAGA Republicans who've gotten nothing done because that's what they still are being controlled by a person who's not president. Don't you see this? Everybody's being lied to, openly lied to, just like slapped around. I mean, look at Mark. He's like freaking out. Yeah, look that up. Put that up there. Look at CNN is a Trump donor. ABC is a Trump donor. They're all donating because what? They're trying to butter both sides. This is the classic. Now, Renee, here's one for you. What do you know about Dr. Seuss?
A children's book writer. That's all I know.
Oh my goodness. Guy, kids, you missed a lot of it. He's a satire writer. That guy starts out with, oh my goodness, Dr. Seuss is seriously. So your homework the next time I see you is, well, I'm gonna put it up. We should put it up now. I'm gonna ask you to do it. Since look it up, The Better Butter Battle by Dr. Seuss. You want to see what's happening right now? Let's take a look through Seuss's eyes. This is where the Better Butter Battle. Yeah, if you can do that, but if you could find that, on the internet and send up the cover of the book,
Yeah, 1 second.
because it's Seuss always used the childlike mind to talk to the grown-ups. Do you know that?
Yeah, he started off, doing adult stuff, and you're right, it's a lot of satire, like the Sneetches.
Well, I don't know if you want to call it
Sneetches.
mostly, and then super illustration, of course, because he's an illustrator.
Right, illustrator.
And so he's talking about, of course, putting different hats. The emperor's,
Yeah.
new clothes is one of his classics. And so Seuss comes into this thing, and he knows how to take down a story. I mean, every
Mhm.
story has a lining. Yeah, The Better Butter Battle. You don't know this story?
I've heard of it before, but it's one of the books I don't think I've ever read by him.
Well, I mean, look how simple that is, right? You
Mhm.
got butter side up versus butter
Butter
side
Side
down.
Down.
That's right.
It's like the Sneetches then,
It's
it's
just like
putting
Sneaks.
2.
Well,
Right. Putting 2 sides
butter
against
up or
one
butter
another.
down, star on, star off. I mean, look, what do
Mhm.
you want? You want to be different, but we're all the
Right.
same. We're all the same. So, but we're not all the same.
Right, okay, we're all the same, but we're not all
Oh,
the
so
same,
it's like
right.
we are all the same, but we're not all the same. Everyone is differently the same. And that's got to be
Mhm.
some kind of creator's plan to have a different flavor on every single one of us. You see what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
mhm.
all those people. Now, we talked about this in okay. Remember, we're putting our own oxygen mask on first, and
Right,
then we're going to help other people, right?
right. That's the
We've
best
got
way
to
to do
change
it.
our own chemistry first, and then we can help other people, right?
Mhm, yep.
In my case, I changed that chemistry by laughing a little bit or making a silly joke or some kind of dark humor. So don't take it personally if I say something that I need to make myself laugh, because that's how I get out of a dark situation. I put myself in the game, housing, water, food, energy, jobs. I start there. I start to play, 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 play as many times as it takes to get me to remember to play. Don't take it too seriously. Anyway, so the Better Butter Battle is about the fact that there's these guys in the newsroom creating the situation, and they come to war, based on, whether you butter side up or butter side down. And this is kind of what's going on when you see that CNN, all the news programs are all giving money to both sides, I guess. I don't think anybody needs any money. I think there should be no money in politics. Like, if you want, I know who I'm going to vote for and how I'm going to vote, and I'm not going to can't put a dollar in that. I can't abide by that. I'm looking at the character of a person more than anything. And I'm definitely not going to vote for somebody who's, convicted felon. Just not going to happen. Never. Not in a million years. Sure. Why wouldn't I bring a fox into my chicken coop and just ask him to spend the night? Have you ever seen a fox? Okay, well, foxes are really rare these days, but you know what? A raccoon in a chicken coop. Have you ever seen that happen, Renee? Renee, are you there? Renee,
Right, yeah, I'm here. I don't
are
think
you
I've
there?
ever
You ever had
actually
chickens?
I've been around chickens and all that, but I don't think I've ever actually seen that.
Have you ever seen a raccoon come into a chicken coop?
Well, not in the I've
Me
never caught
neither.
him in the act. I've never caught him in the act, no.
I've never done it, but I've been told, and this is what I had to do: is I had to make it raccoon proof, because what they do is they bite the heads off of the chickens. They drink the blood.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, it's really
Wow.
gruesome. And they don't even eat the chicken. They
Why
just kill it.
don't why don't they eat the chicken? I feel like they should eat the chicken.
They're herbivores. They're raccoons.
Oh, so it's just a drink, it's a libation for them.
It's just a way to get through the day of a
Wow.
raccoon. You know, everybody has their place. You know, they don't raccoons being a raccoon and just chicken got in the way, and that whatever it became a thing of food. So it's all part of the natural system. But so we don't do that anymore. So we have to remember we have the ability to come back in and change the brain chemistry from a fight or flight and move away from that panic mode. And this is what we learn in soccer. This is why I like the game of soccer a lot, because we learn skills in soccer so that we can slow down time, so that we can make a good pass, so that we don't lose the ball to the other team. See, soccer is a game of keep away, not give away. Right? I've got to keep the ball away long enough to put it in the back of the goal. In fact, I got to keep it away from everybody. In fact, we got to keep it away from the goalie, particularly if we want to get it goal in the back of the net. Now, just try that, because you got other people who want that ball just as bad as you do. So the ball becomes an object of desire, and keep that on for a little bit. But still, I mean, you got to have skill. He gave it away, you see. Boom. Nice. Where'd it go? See, it still went out. So, it's just, this is how we play life. We play life by developing skills and mastering them and practicing kind things and being, gentle when we can. And that is going to get us the big money. A few kind words are going to get us the big money. So, keep tuning in. We're going to be coming back over the thing. We're going to be going over the same things each time. We're going to be using our skills to slow down time and to make a good decision, that we're not going to go into a panic mode and feed them that negative energy that they want. What we're going to do is be jolly about it. Let's be jolly about it. Now, coming up later tonight, we have Tribal Me. So if you're watching this, you should come back and check us out. We're going to be getting there about 5 o'clock. It's going to be going inside. We're going to be making sausage. So it's going to be part of the ongoing documentary of how old guys never give up playing music. And you can be the judge of that one, too, to find out if we're actually getting better, or maybe we should pack it in. You never know. But tonight, I think we're going to try to get to Paris by way of green screen. So I'm hoping to have a Eiffel Tower out the top of my head. If I get it right, we'll be playing with in the streets of Paris. So come back around 5 o'clock on Pacific time, 5 to 7, and we'll jam around and have some fun. And great. We'll see you then.
And do you want me to run the 714 promo?
Yeah, let's see what that looks like. That's
Let's see
perfect.
what-
We're going to have a half-hour show.
Okay, so we'll close out on this. Let's close out on this.
I like